You can watch him on Wednesdays, sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on Fridays. You can catch him on DAZN in selected territories. He will be facing off against Bryan Danielson this coming title Tuesday on AEW Dynamite. Yes, Tuesday. Watch it on DAZN for the number one contendership for the TNT Championship in Seattle against Seattle. I don't remember really ever seeing that in wrestling, my friend.
Yeah, not too much.
Are you a Supersonics fan? Or were you a Supersonics fan? I'm sorry.
No. In NBA, I wasn't really too much of a team fan. I followed the athletes. I followed the players.
Okay.
And nowadays they get traded left and right, so it's hard to be a fan. I got a Curry figure, and he's like that's the only NBA jersey I have. A Curry, so I'm a Curry fan.
Ooh, are you?
Yeah.
Would you say best shooting guard of all time, Steph Curry? I think it's fair argument, correct?
It's hard to argue him in Magic as far as a point guard. As far as two guards, Jordan's the best two guard of all time, Jordan and Kobe. So you're never going to go over that. But I feel like his only competition as far as point guard is him in Magic.
Who's your favorite NBA player of all time?
I'd say Curry. I put Curry.
Man, but
I was a Steve Francis. Fan. Steve Francis.
Ooh,
I was a Steve Francis.
Yeah. University of Maryland, unfortunately, had to go to Vancouver and to Houston, and then he bounced around and
the Orlando time.
Oh, forgot about Orlando. So many stops. You only remember those select few.
Yeah, there's something about the player that stayed with the team for his whole career. There's something about that you don't get to see that much anymore. So that's why I'll stick with Curry.
It's even I'm based in Chicago, and it's as much as I love Jordan, Jordan's my guy. But it's like you said, it's you feel that sense of loyalty, and then he retired, and he's that lasted about 5 minutes, and then he went to Washington.
Yeah, and he still had an all-star career in Washington,
which made no sense. He said no sense at all.
None.
I have to ask this because I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old that love Dynamite. They love Rampage. They love Collision. They were mad at you when you stopped Prince Nana from doing the dance. And I'm like, wait until the pay-per-view. So we watched Wrestle Dream. And then they got excited again because they were like, Daddy, Swerve allowed them to do it. And I'm like, there was a rhyme and a reason Swerve had to do that. And have you been amazed at how much this has gotten over? Because it went viral on TikTok, all over Instagram. AEW's made shirts about it. Does it even surprise you that just a lyric of your song has gotten so over?
Yeah, it has. Because the song's been out for a year and a half.
Yeah.
But it's something about putting a dance to it is what shot it over the edge, by far. The stream numbers have went crazy, and it's cool because I own the song, so I'm watching the numbers just jump, weekly, and just I still haven't even gotten a collection of data from the TikToks and the YouTubes listens and the views and stuff. So when I accumulate all that, it's probably a gold record at this point. but I thank Nana for that. That's why I'm like. That's why to see how much traction it was getting and how much energy we were getting from the crowd. I was like, do I stop this? Do I stop him from doing it tonight? Because we just really started getting rolling. But it was and somebody I got convinced. I was like, okay, I will. I'll do it. And then hearing oh, he took it from us. It was like, yeah, okay. It's like a girl denying that kiss until the next date. It's like, oh, what? It makes you want her even more. It's like, oh, she's even more attractive to me now. Now I gotta really fork out some money on this next date. I gotta really take her to a nice restaurant and all this stuff. And that's what it And that's what we got back from the fans at Wrestle Dream. It was like, give us Nana. We want it so bad. And it was like, all right, I'll allow it.
It's like how I know, like, when my kids, because my kids, we watch it, they watch every week. And then when I get kids saying it, and then like I got some of my son's friends because they know I work for DAZN and we stream AEW, and they're like, when I know what's getting over with the kids, and they're telling me, "Hey, what is going on? Why is Swerve doing this?" And I'm like, "Guys, got to watch. You just got to watch, and you got to see what happens." And have you done the dance?
I have not done the dance.
Wow, I think there needs to be a dance off. I was thinking about that. I think you and Nana need to do it, whether it's in your house, backstage, in the ring, walking to the ring. I think we need a dance off.
There's a scientific reason why I haven't done the dance. I will say we just shot the music video for Big Pressure. Okay. And so when that debuts, that's when you shall see the dance. But there's a scientific reason why. Everything is being pushed in the right motion and the right time where it needs to be.
So after the video and watching Nana do it, who's the better? Who does it better?
Oh, Nana's he's the curator of this whole thing. Like I'm almost like, do I give him writers credits for this? Because this is essentially his song now. Because he just took it over so much, you know. But like honestly, he got people like remembering the words and singing along and actually knowing the words to the song now.
Yeah.
And like it was apparent in like the UK on All In. Like you're seeing people with their phones out, like recording the entrance. And they're singing along with the song, like word for word on the videos. I'm like, okay, so they know the words. They've been listening to this a lot then. So that's the beauty of this whole thing.
You know, you look at what is going on with you, and you know, it seems like getting with the Mogul Embassy and, you know, kind of repackaging the act a little bit. It really seemed like it's gotten you guys to that level. Like, you know, you talk, especially for yourself, you know, you talk about what happened at All In, great match. And you talk about the great match, and you had the great match with Hangman this past Sunday. And it feels like a lot of momentum is not only for the group's way, but also your way. When do you feel like that momentum really started to shift for you and for the act?
I feel like it was honestly we were always being put in a good place. We were placed on the show a bunch of different ways, but I feel like after the promo with me and Hangman is where everything just like, okay, we gotta boom. It was like a whirlwind. We gotta take this and just fly with it now. And that's for me, you know, because like I've always been delivering for a long time now, you know, but then it was just like seeing me in a different light. That's all it was. Like AEW has a ton of talent that can go out there and perform, but it was just like something about like my aura was just different. Like after being put in the coffin by staying, that like that aura that changed something about Swerve coming out of it. The next time you see me outside of that, it has to hit. And just like the next time people saw me was going at Hangman Page in the promo, and it was like, oh wow, well, this is different. This is unique. This is really like, I feel different about him now. But I don't know. I want to see more of him, and we captured that. And that's one thing I always try to go for first. Like I try to go for the feel. What's the feel of me in this setting, with this person across from this person? You know, like what's that feel? And we have now with that's what I feel like the momentum shift was. It's like now you feel us. You're not just watching us perform. You're feeling us perform. You're feeling something. Everything is like, you feel every movement is a purpose. Something's going to come of this. They're not just doing this for no reason. They're not just hitting this or doing that or saying this just to hear us respond to it. No, it's to go somewhere else, and we want to see where it goes, and we want to be along on the ride of where it goes.
You know, and you said that, and it really struck a chord of what I wasn't even going to ask this next, but just listening to your response. And do you feel like that the feel. Do you feel is that what separates the good talent from the great talent? Is it all just about the feel, like what you're talking about here? Good to great, and to
I
get you to that level that you want to get to.
I feel it was what separates good talent to great talent is timing. It's when to feel. It's when to feel in the right time because it's not a point of it's not the point of like I would say like right now I would say when I first came into AEW it was the point the introduction was to oh I like this guy you know I like this guy I this is what I see I want to see more but when they got to me and Keith Lee that was a point to feel then it was like okay there's some good matches going on here with me and Darby, but when Nick Wayne, it was a time for you to feel. It's the time it's the timing. Timing is when it's what it's all about when it comes to good to great. Like because you don't want to push that button too many times.
Yeah.
On something on every matchup. No, sometimes it just needs to be like, oh, this is going to be good. Like me and Tanahashi was just this is a good fun match to watch. That's cool. But like me and Hangman, it was a time. All right, I need to push that button. You need to feel every little bit of what's going on this. Every action, every move, every smirk, every smile, every jaw jack, every like talking, every smack, every like all that stuff. That was a time for it to feel what's going on. And I think that's what separates good to great.
Yeah, you talked about Keith, and I wasn't even going to ask this, but it seems like this is like the running theme. I don't even want to say joke because people really want to see this match. What are we getting Swerve and Keith Lee here?
Timing.
I feel like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and we just haven't gotten that match yet.
Timing. It's timing. Timing. That's all I can say about it. It's just timing.
And I wanted to ask you this: how do you incorporate? Because I don't know if there's a parallel to this from what you do in the musical realm and into the wrestling realm. Do you intertwine any of those? Like, if you're in wrestling, do you incorporate any of your musical ideas and prowess and everything that goes along with making music into wrestling and vice versa?
All the time. Making music has like helped my speech and my patterns and my cadences with my promos so much more. It's helped with like some of those like little quips that I come up with, those like little bars of like because like some people said when I did the what's a farmer to a mogul, what's a cowboy to an outlaw, what's a buckshot to a kill shot. Those are kind of like battle line bars, battle rap bars, so those are like that was kind of help with like, ooh, how do I end this with a good, and music has helped me with my look. It's helped me with my persona. It's helped me with my walk to the ring. I try to make it feel like that artist is finally here on stage, ready to like as soon as he gets to that microphone, it's going to be bam, drop a bar. That's what the entrance feels like. Like you're anticipating that first song that he's about to drop. When walking the stage, so it's helped it's like the music in my wrestling has come so parallel with one another. It runs almost the same rhythms and controlling a crowd, moving a crowd, understanding the sound of like, okay, they're up, I need them down. How do I bring them back up? Like saying certain things to get the reactions back. And I'm like, oh, let me talk through them while they're up. I have them up. Let's keep them up type feel.
Have you ever faced Bryan Danielson? Because I don't remember if you guys faced off at all in WWE. And I know you guys haven't faced off in AEW, like a one-on-one match. Have you ever guys even had a match?
No, never. Me and Hangman never had a match.
Man, I did not know that. I knew you and Hangman did. I wasn't ever too sure about you and Bryan. And what does it mean for you, just on a personal level, to take the professional side out of it, to to face one of the greatest of all time coming up in a few days at Title Tuesday?
The fact that people are like anticipating it so much means a lot. That means there's a big fight feel to it, and that's what I'm honestly proud about this run right now. Like a lot of my matches are marquees. They're marquees, and they give a big match feel. In a sense, Bryan's one of the greatest to ever do this. Especially, there's a lot of pride coming out of the Pacific Northwest area. From Washington State, to Washington State guys. There's a lot of pride in that. He's one of the, I wouldn't call him the past. I would still call him the current of this era. And I'm one of the current in the future, I would say. So that's like a big testament to where, that's a good testament to say I belong in this circle. I belong in the circle, one of the greats, because I'm facing with one of the greats, and I know I can beat one of the greats because this is my time. Like I said, there's all this momentum shift that's going on with me. I love it. I welcome the pressure of it.
Do fans in media make too much of the significance of Tuesday? It's AEW against WWE, WWE against AEW. Do fans in media make too much of this or no?
No, they should. They should. I want them to make more of it. They're like, it's almost like it's two rival teams like going at it on a different night. On the same night. It's like, man, okay, like you're wearing your jersey, and you're rooting for your home team, whoever that may be. But at least you're watching. Some people are going to watch both.
That's what I think at the end of the day what matters is, and I said this to people on Twitter and they got all in a tizzy. At the end of the day, it's great for the wrestling fan. Like, you don't have to choose. You can watch one first, so you can watch the other one later. It doesn't really, you can try to watch both at the same time. It really doesn't matter. The fans are going to win out of this. And, when you're in a big match and then the talent, I imagine, the talent's going to want to perform, regardless of who it is.
There's a lot of story in this too. There's a lot of there's a lot of the guys that's been around for a while are facing a lot of the young guys. You got I'm Copeland and Luchasaurus. You got Bryan Danielson and myself. You got Sheeta and Saraya, and you got there's a lot of these, and you got Moxley and Phoenix again. So you're seeing a lot of the older guard facing the younger guard. So with that being said, there's a lot of those guys are ex-WWE guys. Some guys are going to be like, yo, man, oh, that's where he's been. Let me check in and watch this because I'm so used to seeing him over here. He's wrestling somebody I've never seen over there before. This is just say for a first-time viewer that's never seen it. There's a lot of intrigue on that. There's a lot of intrigue on Adam Copeland alone right now in this timing of this. There's a lot of intrigue on me with me and Bryan Danielson never faced off before, and two guys from the same area that's never faced off representing from Seattle who both have big wins coming off of Wrestle Dream. Then there's a lot of intrigue with Hangman Page and Jay White, both Bullet Club members from Japan, and Jay White's 2-0 on Hangman. So there's a lot of backstory on a lot of these matchups, and then you have over there, you got a lot of good, there's a lot of stars and legends that are being packed in on the show. So there's just so much intrigue. That's story in itself of these guys are causing this to happen and these guys are causing this to happen. And it's good. It's beautiful. I welcome it. I'm happy. I wish we could do this every night because then everybody's going to be glued to I have to sit down and watch it. No, well, so-and-so's in town. No, I'm not going. I'm watching this. I'm sitting down because I have to watch this. And it's appointment TV, which we're losing a lot of. A lot of times we just nah, I'm going to sit and wait till it shows up on Netflix. I'm going to wait till it shows up on this streaming service. No, this is appointment TV. You have to be here at this time because you want to talk about this years later. Oh, I remember that match. I was there when this happened. I remember where I was sitting with this. That's a feel that we don't get too much more as wrestling fans or as television viewers. We don't get that feel as much anymore.
Favorite TV show?
Breaking Bad.
Love it.
Man, that's actually when me and Adam Copeland became good friends a couple years ago. When I brought up Breaking Bad, he's like, I love that show. And then we got into Better Call Saul, and then he was like, "Oh, my favorite character is this. This is what I studied for this match, and this is what I studied for this thing." I was like, "Oh, then you'll love this YouTube video about breaking down." He's like, "Oh, send it to me," and then we became friends ever since then.
I wanted to ask you real quick about Adam. That was one question I definitely wanted to ask you. What does Adam bring to AEW?
Lineage. That's a man who's been a legend in the game for like 27 years and has never been anywhere else. This is his first time being on another television product. Like in 27 years, since the 90s, we've never seen him anywhere else. And it's the first time really seeing him mix it up with new, fresh blood, new, fresh talent, and another new, fresh company. Because it's 4 years AW's been around, but it's still a new, fresh company. That's intriguing in itself. The knowledge that he's going to bring, the presence, the persona, like all these things. And we're anticipating seeing something different and new that we haven't seen from him. And there's a lot of creative freedom that comes with that too. We're truly getting to see Adam Copeland like really just flush out and just go wild, not be contained, not be like locked in on certain things. Like, oh, this is going this way, so we can't have you do this. We got to have you here. It's like, no, let's mix this up with that, and then we'll get to here and do that. Like, okay, that works too. Let's go with that way. You're really getting to see him like really be fluid and free with his career. And at the tail end, saying this is where he wanted to end his career with Christian, and Christian's on a big resurgence in his career with what he's doing right now. So you're seeing a hungry, creative free guy in Adam Copeland, a legend, going up against a resurged, like better than he's ever been character on 100% just evil, maniacal, turtleneck wearing TNT champion of Christian. Like, man, that's making for great television, great story. And you're seeing like implements of like an 18-year-old Nick Wayne influence. You have a Darby Allin, you have a Sting involved, you have a Luchasaurus involved. There's a lot of just different webs of storytelling that's about to go on. That right there should sell everything.
You may get involved in that picture if you do what a lot of people are expecting you to do on Tuesday. And nothing to take away from the TNT title. And after you beat Hangman, I was talking to some people, a lot of friends like, oh man, Swerve's ready. It seems like he's ready to challenge MJF, ready to go and be the world heavyweight champion. And what would it mean to Swerve Strickland to become the first African American to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion?
That's a story, that's a possibility, and that's like being talked about now amongst peers. It's a seed I planted that I wanted to just organically grow. It wasn't about like the story wasn't about AEW's never had a black world champion. It was just like, no, I want to win it, and I want to be the first. And I don't want to accept anything less. I want to be the first. That means I want to be next up. Especially with the momentum I have, it's like I want to use all that to get to the top. TNT title's amazing. If I can acquire the TNT title and use that as momentum to catapult, and maybe even hold both. I want to do that. And Christian's on a real high right now, and if I take that from him, then oh man, people are really going to explode and be like, oh, we really believe him now. And then I take that and I'm like, you know what? I have this. Our AEW World Champions already holding 2 belts. I want to hold 2 belts too. The possibilities are there now.
Yeah. Precedence is definitely there, and with this, what can fans expect on Title Tuesday in your match against Bryan Danielson, with the winner facing Christian Cage for the TNT Championship?
I've said this before. Like, I'm unlike anybody in this industry has ever faced off against, especially for the first time. Bryan Danielson's never faced anybody like me. Nobody's ever like Bryan Danielson's never faced off against the type of caliber of not just in ring ability, but in ring IQ that I have. This is something different. This is something new. And it's something that's unorthodox. And it's a lot of times I was told, no, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. This doesn't make sense because it was so out of the box of what the parameters of pro wrestling should be or the psychology of whatever. And I kind of like, okay, now I'm going to double down on it and make up my own shit because this is like something that nobody should be doing, or I'm gonna do it because nobody is doing it. And that's what makes me hard to scout. It makes me hard to plan for. It makes me hard to adapt to. I adapt to you and not the other way around. Well, Bryan Danielson is one of the most adaptive wrestlers of all time. Like, I've been there for a lot of his like primetime matches, but I'm a step ahead of that in the terms of adaptability. He has the knowledge. He has the he has the he has the knowledge. He has the longevity of being in this business for so long and being at the top of the top, but he hasn't been able to achieve that here. And there's a reason for that because there's a lot of adaptability in AEW, and I'm one of the most.
Title Tuesday coming up this coming Tuesday, no pun intended. From Independence, Missouri, you can watch AEW Dynamite on DAZN in over 40 territories. Swerve Strickland, we've never chatted. I've been looking forward to this. So thank you so much for the time today. It is greatly appreciated. I look forward to you beating Bryan Danielson. I look forward to you then going out and beating Christian Cage, getting that TNT title, and then you going to make history and becoming the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm looking forward to when's the music video coming out? So fans can kind of, or you have not set a date yet.
To be determined. To be determined. Just keep your eyes peeled. It is dropping soon. But meanwhile, on youtube.com/Swerve Podcast, I dropped 2 music videos, Work It and These Dreams, that was on my birthday and was on Wrestle Dreams Day. So go check those 2 out and stream those.